You know, challenge funnels have gained a lot of popularity in the last few years. And over those years, I've led over 200,000 people through live and automated challenges. And we've seen a lot of, what works, what doesn't work. So today's episode of Legacy Builders with Bryan Dulaney, I'm gonna give you all of our best kept secrets on hosting incredible challenges with your community that adds massive value and gives you the greatest opportunity to enroll people in what you have to offer. All right, so let's talk about the lessons from hosting more than 200,000 people on challenge funnels and challenges. You see, back in 2006, I learned about internet marketing. Like that's when I got started, right? I got started in 2006. I was working on my master's degree and I joined a challenge, actually. So for those of you out there saying, oh, challenges are new, the newest thing since sliced bread, listen, we've been doing challenges since 2006, right? That's not a new thing, right? Challenges are great though, in my opinion, because it allows people to really learn more about you, prove your value, then make an offer, right? After you've earned the right to make an offer. And I talk a lot about, right? Like earning the right. You do that by adding value, helping people get results in advance, and then you've earned the right to then make an offer. So when you make an offer, more people say yes, right? It's not rocket science, but there is an art and science to doing a challenge, obviously, right? So started in 2006, and I got drawn in to a 30-day challenge. And the whole concept here was, how do you make your first dollar online, right? And so I came into it, hadn't made a penny yet. I was a personal trainer part-time, working on my MBA part-time. And I was like, man, I don't want to get a job. I want to figure out how to make this internet work so I can work for myself and create a business that I love. I saw my dad as an entrepreneur growing up, and I loved, the entrepreneurial life that we had as a family. And so I was pulled to that. And so what was really awesome about this challenge was that you would focus on one thing at a time. So you'd focus on day one, it would be focus on this, right? It was like focus on, buying a domain name, next day, setting up hosting, the next day, getting your content in place, promoting affiliate programs, so they took you step by step, which I really liked, because for me, what happened was I came, 2 weeks late to the party, but that allowed me to catch up. So I went through a video, took some action, watched a video, took some action, watched a video, take some action. And literally within 7 days of buying my first domain name, which was a really silly one, it was fitrichlife.com. I figured, people like fitness, people like wealth, let's just sandwich them together, right? Terrible domain name, but it worked. And in 7 days, I got an email that said, you made a sale. And it was for a $2,000 product, and I got paid $750 as an affiliate. And I remember that day like it was yesterday, right? I remember telling my roommates, I had two roommates in a townhouse I was at in Lynchburg, Virginia. And I remember telling them that I made it at $750 from a couple days worth of work. It was super easy. They're like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it hit your bank account. And so I had to wait like 30 or 45 days just to get the check. But I knew I was onto something. I knew that if I could do this every day, you do the math, right? $750 a day, every day of the year, it's like, what, $250,000. And it really was a couple hours worth of work. It was really way too easy. So I figured, you know what? I got to figure out how to reproduce this effort. And so I went down the rabbit hole and studied everything I could get my hands on, right? I was determined to figure it out, because if you can do it once, that typically means you can do it again and again and again and again, right? So I had hope, and many of you know my story, right? That led me to hiring a mentor, because I realized I didn't get my second degree black belt in Taekwondo by watching YouTube videos. So I found a mentor who said, listen, you do this, do this, do this. And I did that, and I made 10,000 in commissions in less than a week, right? Then at that point, I was like, okay, this is now reproducible, right? I can now count on this to, feed myself, pay the bills, feed myself, move into my own place. I can do this, right? I was making more than my teachers were making all month in a couple days. And so that was what really got me into challenges and into internet marketing, really. So I owe a lot of gratitude to that first challenge got me in 2006. And then, fast forward, I did a ton of stuff. I'm not going to talk about all that because today's really focused on challenges. But I helped a client of mine launch a challenge, and we put over 120,000 people through it. And I want to share with you some of the lessons of running that challenge, putting over 120,000 people through that challenge. We learned a lot. I mean, think about, you'll learn a lot of things. And so what we did is we created a 21-day sales challenge. And the way that I articulated or architected it from the get-go was I loved how T. Harv Eker, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him or not, but he wrote a book called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And I highly recommend that book. It's a great book. It juxtaposes the difference between broke-minded and wealthy-minded, right? And how broke people think this way about things and wealthy people think this way about things. And there's a whole slew of things of how broke people think compared to wealthy people, right? And if you're looking to rewire your money beliefs, if you don't have the money that you want, it's probably rooted in a money belief that keeps you in that situation, right? So the book is absolutely phenomenal for that. But I wanted to create, so I said, let's create a challenge where we juxtapose the difference between average salespeople, because the average salesperson, according to consensus and the data, it makes like $42,000 a year, right? Whereas my partner, the client that I helped launch, was generating several million a year as a sales guy, as a commission-based sales guy, right? And so we launched a challenge, right? And one of the things that we did to really increase our conversion rates, because, people would join the challenge and then we had a lot of low ticket offers. And then eventually our objective was to get people to enroll into a signature course. Basically, it was his signature way that he sells. How's he able to make $2.4 million a year as a salesperson? It's in this course, right? So the reason why he even came to me in the first place is that, he was doing really well as an expert as, a sales guy, right? Making $2.4 million a year. Then he helped like 20 people one-on-one who all paid him 20 grand. He's like, listen, Bryan, I want to help more people. Most people can't afford 20 grand. So I want to help more people. I want to create a course. I want to digitize it, and I want to monetize it all around the world. I said, cool, great. Nobody knows you. We need to build trust in a market of people that have no clue who you are. And that's where the challenge even came from in the first place, right? It was, you don't have an audience, you don't have a list, you don't have a brand. You want to be the next Brian Tracy, but nobody knows you, right? So we created the 21-day sales challenge to do just that, to get people to know, like, and trust him, and to provide what I call, right, that results in advance or earn the right to make an offer, which we did by providing good value, good content that people could implement, right? I think challenges, if you're gonna do challenges, I think the big tip is, we did a 21-day sales challenge in this instance, and now I don't recommend doing them that long, right? I think 5 days and 7 days is the sweet spot. I think beyond that, what happens is you lose attention span, right? People are off on the next shiny object, the next news story, the next thing that crosses their news feed. So you've got to really keep them focused and keep them active. And then the other thing is make each day learning, but also action. But make the action simple, right? So it's like with webinars, right? If you give too much strategy and too much information, people get stuck in the mud and they never move forward, right? That's one of the big things with doing webinars and challenges. We don't want to overwhelm them. We want to give them enough. We want to keep them inspired, but we want them moving forward. We want them making progress, right? And so what we did was we added coaches. Actually, we added coaches to the process, and what that did is that helped us to increase our sales, of course, right? So we made the challenge where you would get an accountability coach, and that accountability coach, really their job was to get the person move through the challenge, and then to watch the material. Here's the reality, right? If they don't watch your material, they're never going to move forward, right? So we brought that accountability coach in, and then that helped to help move them along, and then introduce them to the signature product, which was anywhere from $497 to $2,000. And then we gave those salespeople 20% of the commission of the sale. Now, when we did bump in the coach, we bumped the price to $2,000, because 20% of $2,000 is $200. 20% of $500 is like $50. So, right? So, or what is that, $100, right? So, $2,000 is a better price point, especially when you add the coach in. You've got other expenses now that you have to accrue. But we had, like 15 or 16 coaches full-time coaching people that are going through the challenge, okay? The other thing that we did is we introduced a lot of low-ticket offers, which I wouldn't do again because it was a lot of work. But the one blessing of it all was after you joined the challenge, it was a free challenge, right? After you joined the challenge, then what we did was we said, we had a thank you page, of course. We told them what to do next, but we offered them to upgrade to get access to the whole 21-day sales challenge in a membership site right now with a private Facebook group. And we had a good number of people pay that. It was $7. And then we had a bump offer for $37. And that $37 bump offer was 4 closing questions. How he closes $2.4 million a year as a sales guy using these 4 closing questions. Okay, we got a huge uptick on that, of course, because anybody who's selling stuff wants to sell more stuff, right? And so that's an attractive offer. And then we had, an upsell and a downsell and an upsell and a downsell. And so between all of those products, what we found is that all of that paid for the acquisition of those leads, okay? And then the profit kicked in with the signature course, from $497 to $2,000. Eventually it became $2,000. That was the and it came as a physical product with the digital product access, right? But $497 we found was like the sweet spot when selling it digitally, right? So that market and digitally. Now, one of the other interesting things we did to scale was we took the top 10 sales training markets. We took car sales, we took technology sales, we took software sales. We took the top 10 sales industries, if you will, and we created ads that spoke to, say, car salespeople or software salespeople. And so the ad spoke to that person, then the landing page spoke to that person, and then the challenge was the same challenge, right? We did that in our scale efforts, right? So as we were scaling the campaign, we said, you know what, let's get targeted and let's test, right? Rather than going broad and making this about like just selling and not losing sales and 10xing your sales ability, let's make it more than that, right? So all of the lower ticket offers, really paid for the acquisition. So one of the things to think about when you're doing a challenge is, are you going to offer low ticket offers or not, right? I'm going to tell you about a challenge that we ran in 2021 that was massively successful, and we didn't offer any low ticket offers. And it was a hugely successful campaign. So let's talk about that, right? So right after the world got shut down, right, from COVID, we decided, you know what? We need to serve. We need to lead and serve rather than cower and sit back. Most of the people at that time were like pulling their ad budgets, right? It was crazy, right? Everyone wasn't sure what the heck was going on, and everything was a hot mess, right? We all lived through that situation. We decided in that moment, you know what? We need to serve. We need to lead. We need to serve. And so we said, okay, let's do a challenge. And we hosted a challenge all focused around launching expertise, because that's our main business model, right? It's like helping experts launch and scale their expertise. We spent $100,000 in ad spend. We've never did the challenge before. It was a brand new challenge, but we knew that with our back end, it would take care of it, because we had a $25,000 mastermind. We have our agency, right? We knew that our back end offers were stable and solid and converting well, right? So we're confident in throwing $100,000 at Facebook and Instagram ads. We were confident in that. And leads started coming in at $13 a lead. Now, you might be sitting there and thinking, man, $13 a lead, that is high. I even had that thought at first, okay? But I trusted the process. And I said, you know what? Let's really serve, let's really add a lot of value, and let's really deliver. And it doesn't matter what the lead cost is, we'll make it up on the back end. Let's not stress about that, right? Most people stress about it, right? $13 leads sounds expensive. Well, what happened was we had a 4 times return on ad spend. We had over 450 people come in at $1,000. Do the math, $450,000 in front end revenue, not to mention people who ascended into the mastermind for $25,000 or people who went to the agency, right? It ended up being several $1,000,000 in back-end revenue, not including the front-end revenue. And really, you think about it, right? Your front-end offers, your front-end challenges, webinars, summits, book funnels, like all those things are really designed to help you acquire customers who then you can ascend into your higher ticket offers that serve people deeper, right? I think that's a really important note to say it. That's why I emphasized it, right? Like your higher ticket offers are it's really the best thing that people can move into because that's the best thing that's going to get them the results they want, right? Like your book is not going to get the masses the results they want. It's just not. I mean, reality is 90% of people who buy a book don't even read past the first chapter, right? But when people pay $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $25,000, whatever for coaching or mastermind or consulting or services, they're more likely to have success. That's what I found. Right? I'm sure you found the same if you're in business and you're in this industry. So here's some of the lessons that we learned from that first challenge that we led is to serve first, lead with generosity. We ended up adding hot seats, really, again, to continue to serve, but to really showcase our coaching. And it was a huge hit. We did hot seats. We decided after day one, we said, let's do hot seats today. And we scheduled hot seats. We had people apply, we'd bring them out, and we just help them overcome the challenge that they were in that moment, right? So if you're selling coaching, I highly encourage you, add a hot seat, right? If you're doing a challenge, have 1 hour of training and then have an hour of hot seats, right? It's only an extra hour of your time. If you're doing it 5 days, it's an extra 5 hours. If you're doing it 7 days, it's an extra 7 hours. But trust me, it'll pay huge dividends because people will be able to see you in action. And that's what you want. You want them to be able to see and you want to demonstrate, the goods, right? You want to demonstrate your value, right? And so that's one of the things that we did. We also incentivized the sharing, which was huge. We had like $9,000 or $10,000 in free leads come in just by incentivizing sharing, okay? So we had over 600 leads come in for free because people that joined the challenge shared the challenge. And then what we did was we gave away a bunch of prizes in the beginning of our challenge to people that shared, right? So what was really magical about that and why I recommend doing it is that you're leading with generosity, right? Like think about it. You come into a challenge, you signed up, it's free. You come in and you win an Apple Watch or you win a Apple AirPods or you win a Yeti microphone or whatever it might be, right? Just think about that for a second, right? People are pumped. People love free stuff. Costs you a couple grand, but in the grand scheme of things, I would have paid that in advertising anyways, right? So would I rather give Facebook an extra 9 grand or I'd rather give 2 grand or 3 grand to the community? I don't know about you, but I'd rather give 2 or 3 grand in free stuff to the community than give it to Facebook. So that was one of the things that we did. The other thing that we did with our challenge was we incentivized participation and action every day. Because if they listen and don't take any action, they're not going to get the results that they want. They're not going to get the results that we want, and they're not going to be in it long term. So the big thing with challenges, I think, is keeping things simple so that people can take a step and make progress, take another step and make progress, take another step and make progress. So by the time that they get to the offer, they're already waist deep, if you will. So it's like you're getting in the ocean, right? If you're getting in the ocean in California, it's freezing. If you're getting in the ocean over here in Florida, it's pretty warm. It's like bath water. It's not as dramatic, right? But 1 foot at a time. By the time you know it, they're waist deep and they're more comfortable with you. They're more comfortable with making an investment. They're more comfortable with moving forward, right? So we incentivized participation. We incentivized doing the homework. We incentivized declaring what they're going to launch and by when, right? Not only to our group, but also to their own groups and their own public channels. Okay, so there is something powerful about making a public declaration for what you're going to launch and by when, right? You're now telling the world, you're broadcasting, and you're now telling everyone, listen, this is what I'm doing. I'm putting my flag in the sand, right? Another thing that was a lesson was making an irresistible offer. I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to sell stuff, you need to make an offer that helps people win. And that's what we did. So we made an irresistible offer. An offer that was a clear winner because, when you have, we had over 250 people in an hour enroll in the program, right? That was an amazing hour, right? More than doubled our ad spend. We were pumped, and now we don't have to worry about, oh, is this going to break even or double our revenue? No, we're beyond that now, right? Some other things that we do is seeding of your higher ticket programs, right? And what's amazing if you do that well, seeding is basically talking about what you do on your back end offers, your higher ticket programs, but not selling it, right? Like not overtly directing people to go buy your coaching, consulting, your services, whatever it might be, right? So it's called seeding. And so we talk about it sporadically throughout the challenge. And then what's amazing about that is that we had people that joined the challenge, loved the challenge, but didn't move forward with the course. But they hired us in the agency, right? Because we seeded the agency. We seeded the mastermind. Some people loved the challenge, but didn't want the course because they didn't want to do it all themselves, and they joined the mastermind, right? So if we would have never seeded, we would have never had those buyers. We would have never had those people that said, hey, I want you guys to just do this for me. I don't want to learn it all myself. You obviously are the experts. You've been doing this forever. You have the results that I want. Can I hire you to do it? Right? So that was another lesson. Here's one more lesson for you. And I got tons of lessons, but I'll give you one more. And that is that when we run our challenges, we always run an application funnel at the same time because we want those higher ticket applications coming through, right? Very different funnel though, very different copy, very different language. Language is more, in our case, focused on done for you and done with you versus do it yourself, right? So we've seen such a dramatic result in not running one funnel, but running two. And that is when we're running our challenge, we're also running our high ticket application funnel simultaneously. Because the reality is this, some people just want to go straight to the highest path, the fastest path, the path that's going to help them get where they're looking to go the fastest, right? So imagine if we didn't run that funnel. Well, we would have left, I would tell you, hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table, and they would have never known about it, okay? So with all those lessons, I first of all, I love challenges. I highly encourage you to host one, whether it's a 5-day or a 7-day, and just serve, just really serve. Have the mindset of I'm going to add massive value. I'm going to help people make progress. And if they want to go deeper, then I'm going to give them that opportunity to go deeper and help them even more, right? I would also encourage you, we have a 7-day challenge coming up. We turned our challenge that I just talked about into an evergreen program, meaning it can run all year. And it's a 7-day challenge. You can find it at launchexpertise.com. Plus, you don't have to wait for a date for it to start. You could start today, right? Now it is free plus shipping. You do have to pay $9.95 to join the challenge because we ship you a launch and scale welcome package with a workbook and stuff. And so you're going to want to get that. Plus, we are giving away a 1-day strategy session with me. Normally that's $17,500, to map out your funnels, your offers, your ad strategy, to be able to have a plan, a game plan for launching a 7 or 8-figure business. Okay. And just so you know, 1 out of every 1,000 people will win. Okay. So, think about it. We put 6,000 people through for free the last time we ran it. We're going to put another 10,000, 20,000 people through this program because, it was so successful. We had over 50% of the people, and this is a stat that I'm proud of, we had over 50% of the people who enrolled into the next level, which was $1,000, actually launch a funnel within 60 days or less. And then we celebrated that success. We emailed our database of more than 150,000 people. We advertised to our audience and we advertised to the market, showcasing our most successful students. I don't know about you, but I don't really care about completion rates. I care about implementation rates. Okay, there's a lot of people in the industry that, our completion rate is X. Who gives a rip? If they're not implementing it, none of it matters, right? Who cares if you get a certificate? That's a bunch of smoke and mirrors. All I care about is you learning and taking action and producing results, because you've got lives to help. There's lives on the line. There's people that you need to serve. There's people that are waiting for you to lead. And that's what this is all about. So I would encourage you to join us at launchexpertise.com. And what's new and improved about this, outside of the being able to win a free day with me, there's several things, but one of the things is my wife. I've incorporated my wife into the mix where she gets to bring her expertise of marketing and selling, but selling high ticket. She's really, really skilled. She's been doing it for 12 years now of selling high ticket offers over 10 grand. And she has a really high conversion rate because she's been doing that for so long. Even before we met, she was selling for 8 years. She was selling for a Fortune 100 company and was doing about $1 million a month. Okay, so she's one of the best that I know at selling high ticket. So she is with me this time, and I can't wait for you to experience it. Again, go to launchexpertise.com, join us, play full out. You can model success, model what we've done here, and I look forward to hearing your story. But play full out. How you do anything is how you do everything, right? Play full out. It's free. We just ask you to cover the cost of shipping to get you the welcome package. Also, what comes with it, you can see everything actually at launchexpertise.com. You'll see a whole list of things that comes with the program, what you're going to learn, the outcomes that we designed the challenge to create for you, and all of that stuff is over there at launchexpertise.com. Thank you for joining me on Legacy Builders, and I would encourage you to come back to the next episode next week to get more clarity on your journey to launch your expertise online, scale your impact, and build your legacy. If you're ready to get the process started of launching your expertise online the right way, then I recommend go to launchexpertise.com, or maybe you're at a place where you're ready to really scale your expertise and your impact. Go to launchexpertise.com. There you'll have several options. Number one, you can get a free copy of my brand new book, The Entrepreneur Evangelist, which I share the secrets that have unlocked more than $300 million of results for my clients, my partners, and our own campaigns. You could also join a 33 days of coaching with me that's free, where I give you insights and wisdom on your journey to launching your expertise and scaling your impact over the course of 33 days. And that's worth at least $5,000, but for right now, you can get it for free. And lastly, if you're someone who wants to take the absolute faster, smarter path when it comes to launching your expertise online and scaling your impact, I'd recommend scheduling a call with my team where we can see how we can support you to crush goals and generate 7 or 8 figures yourself in a short period of time. We have more awards than nearly anyone in the entire community, and for good reason. And we would love to help you just like we've helped them. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Legacy Builders.